You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast with Sinan Schwarting and Kaan Bayazit.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksın kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve gol!
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. I wish I could be back with you today with a better result on the books, but unfortunately, for the third time in a row now, Beşiktaş have dropped points in the Super League, this time after a 0-0 draw away against Başakşehir, the second time only that the Black Eagles got shut out this season. And there's plenty to talk about. Sinan Schwarting is unfortunately a little bit under the weather. I'm sure he'll be joining us in the live chat, but he has been unwell all day, so he will not be joining us. However, as always, I am joined by my co-host from Glasgow, Scotland, Kartal Oer. Kartal, we are right after the game, and I can already hear on your voice that you are not very happy today.
Well, shit. So was the other team, but like it was a shit game, boring. I still think, can you disagree? But I think that was a penalty at the end. To me, I can see a kick to the shin of Rishika and he goes down. For me, that's a clear penalty, and we should have at least got a chance to win the game from the penalty. But no, the season's done. We're 10 points behind.
No.
And it's times like this I'm thankful that I've got a wife and she's there making TV and take my mind off this shit.
Yeah, I get that.
Just sitting in this house myself, man, it'd be a tough night, I'll say that much.
Definitely. That's also why we're doing this now. So we can provide that shoulder to cry on for some of our viewers and our listeners, to help them cope maybe a little bit with this disappointing result. But all in all, I think if one team deserved to win, it probably was Beşiktaş, because I think we had the better chances. I don't know if you agree with that, Kartal, but I don't really remember any big chance for Başakşehir. They had some dangerous balls over the top, and dangerous attacks that could have resulted in something, but they never really seemed to threaten the goal. Like Mert wasn't really tested, and I think on the other end, at least there was one really big chance that fell to Rafa in the first half, which Mohamed Cengizer saved pretty well. Unfortunately, other than that, really, it was a drought for chances. There weren't a lot of opportunities on either side. I think that the stats will reflect that as well. I think maybe the XG for Başakşehir is slightly higher, which is surprising because I really don't think they did anything worth of note that I can remember. But it's disappointing, man. But
Our XG is actually higher, bro.
all right.
Just now it's 0.54 to 0.74.
Well, the first half it was higher for Başakşehir, so that's why I just went off of that. But I do think, we'll see. We'll look at it in the second half. But not much to say. Let's have a look at the lineups. Kartal, do you mind doing the honors?
So for Başakşehir, it was Mohamed in goals, Lima at left back, Opoku at left centre back. To be honest, I thought he was very good. Hamza at right centre back, Leo Duarte right back, Berat Özdemir is the number 6, Deniz Tuj at right mid, Miguel Crespo. I was almost saying Hernan Crespo there. Centre. Umar Ali Shiner is the other number 8. And then you had Serdar Gürler as the left mid and Piatek up front.
Piontek.
Piontek. I'm not Polish, bro. So
Krzysztof Piontek.
Mert Gunok in our goal. Svensson at right back. Gabriel Paulista right centre back. Felix Udokai left centre back. Artur Masuaku left back. Ali Al-Musrati at the number 6. Jedson Fernandes at the number 8. João Mario right mid. Rafa Silva number 10. Left mid Ernest Mucci, and up top Semi Kalutsoi. To be honest, I think the 11 was expected. Obviously, we all wanted to see Rashika instead of Mario, but it's clear that Rashika is not ready to play a full 90 minutes because he only came on with like 20 minutes left to spare against Malmö midweek, and then again he came on with roughly the same amount of time left today. So it's clear that he's not fully fit. He's not fit to play a full 90 minutes. Obviously, we're disappointed in that, but that's just the way it is. Nothing you can do. You need to take the victories that Musrati started, and to be honest, I think Musrati was our best player today, in my opinion. Maybe alongside Rafa as well. Like, those two were the only two that kind of took us forward, I felt. I think Sadio Chan actually had a nice moment. With a pass to Mustafa Erhan Hekimoğlu at the end. But that was very well defended by that Oliver Kemen.
Salih came on, added a little bit of quality. Rafa was, I made this remark, I don't know if you agree with it, Katal, and I think I said it maybe in the second half, early in the second half, where I said Rafa is playing in 5th gear and everyone else, or the majority of the other players are playing in 2nd gear, and Masuaku puts it in reverse now and then. It just felt like that. Like it didn't feel like the intensity was there. You were talking about that last week, how that's something we wanted to see, and
well, very pedestrian.
Yeah, and maybe strangely enough, after he takes Simi off and he makes that sub that I think will be maligned online, I think after that we probably played our best period of the match, perhaps.
We were still pretty shit, man.
We were still, of course, it's all relative. But it's
we defended well, but like, attacking play, it just wasn't good, man.
I think we've come to expect that from the team, though, that we defend well. I think against Kasımpaşa, for example, it's not like we had a terrible defensive outing. It's just that we had a few. The first goal we conceded was an absolute fluke, and then the second one was Masuaku putting it in reverse, and then the third one, that's a counter. But I think one of the biggest issues the team have right now is, there's this saying, very common saying, which is offense is the best form of defense. And I think that's our biggest issue right now, is that our offense is just so bad at the moment. It's just the way it is. I mean, the only player who has his really, really good moments consistently is Rafa, and he's the only one. This was another game in which João Mario and Mucci contributed very little in a positive way offensively.
I think João Mario had about one good forward pass the full game. I don't think Mucci had any.
He had, João Mario, that ball, the shot from Simi. At the end of the first half, where he controls it in the box and turns really quickly and shoots, that was off of a João Mario cross, if I'm not mistaken.
That's two then. That's two, and fair play. That's the one that he should have let run to Mucci, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, if it's the one at the end of the half, it is. He should have let it run to Mucci. Mucci was in a better position because there was no defenders there. But again, I maybe I wouldn't call that being selfish, because he maybe doesn't know Mucci's there, but maybe it's just a lack of that instinct and that awareness of his surroundings that you could blame that on. But that was disappointing.
Makes sense that would have been that play, because João Mario was on the right at that point, so Mucci would probably switch to the left. But I didn't notice Mucci being open, honestly.
Yeah, no, he should have let that run. But yeah, man, like I feel like there's not really much to talk about today, and it was just a very, very dull game. Like nothing much happened.
No.
But the penalty shout I felt at the end, which for me is a penalty, and I was shouting.
I really don't think it's a penalty. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know how many people are watching right now. I think most of you probably threw your remote at your television and switched off for the night. But if you haven't, if you're with us, let us know whether you thought that was a penalty, yes or no. I mean, Kettle, I really wanted it to be a penalty, man. I was looking live. I was like, surely that's a penalty. And then that replay came, and I knew. He was still listening to VAR, but I already knew, he's not going to give that. There wasn't anything obscene. There wasn't anything that was too egregious. And when there isn't, they don't give him. And I think it's rightfully so. I really don't think that... there might be some contact with the shin there, but he doesn't step on the foot. He doesn't push him. He doesn't overly physically body check him. It's a physical duel. There's some contact, but I think Rasicka has no real anywhere to go. He's with his back towards goal. He's trying to turn to the back line to maybe put it across or something, but I think he feels the contact and just goes down really easily. And
I'll say this then, if that happens in the last minute, if it's Galatasaray or Fenerbahce playing, do you not think they give that as a pen?
They have given that as a pen for Galatasaray in the Hatay game. Sometimes they do. Last season, I would say for both Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, they would probably give it because they got a lot of last minute or last 10 minutes bailout penalties last season. I have to be honest, this season, I think Galatasaray and Fenerbahce both haven't really had many of those. I think Galatasaray had one against Hatay in the 80th minute in the first match day, which was very crucial. And then Fener had a somewhat contentious call against Göztepe, but I honestly thought that was a penalty. So I don't think there's been a lot of controversy in their favor when it comes to penalties. There have been other positions, of course, red cards not given, stuff like that, last man decisions ignored, things like that. There have been plenty of controversies, like as there always are. But when it comes to penalties, I mean, last season I think they probably might get it. But do you really think if that would have been 0-0 and it would have been on the other end, would you have? I mean, I think it's a difficult question, but do you think that would have been a penalty? Should have been a penalty for Başakşehir then? Do you think that would have been enough?
I mean, I think if there's like a contact that's made someone fall, in this case, I think it may have for Rasicka. Like, let's just say if that gets given, I'm not mad because there's contact there.
But you say just now May, right?
Yeah.
You just said May. So
yeah, I'm biased, man. Like to be honest, like, if they get that penalty, I wouldn't complain about it.
I'd be upset, man. Yeah, there's contact, but not every contact is a penalty, though. I don't think every contact is a penalty. It's still a physical sport. There's certain things you can and can't do. Like you can't handle the ball, you can't push a guy, you can't pull somebody down. But like, there's very minimal leg contact in a somewhat fair attempt to play the ball. I think I don't think it's a penalty, man. I just don't. I also
ugly brown. Yusuf, let us know what you think. Is that a penalty or is it not? Am I crazy here? Am I just trying to like say or like find an excuse for the draw, or is Karen right saying it's not a penalty? Let's hear your thoughts, folks.
Let's hear them, yeah, if anyone's watching. I did, however, I did not like the referee, though. Not because of that penalty position, because obviously I don't really think it's I don't think it's a stonewall penalty. I think, and for VAR to intervene, I think it needs to be stonewall. I think if the ref gives it, VAR is not going to overturn it, because there is some contact. But I also don't think it's a clear error by the referee not to give it, because I think, yeah, the level of the contact is important. Like earlier today, there was a penalty given against Galatasaray, and they were all very upset. And initially, I thought as well, oh, that's probably a little harsh. Then I looked at it back, and the guy pushes him with 2 hands in the back. It's not necessarily a super hard push, but what can't you do? You cannot put your hands on opponent's back and push them. That is not a duel. That is not something that is allowed in football. So it's a penalty. But here, I was really hoping that the guy gave him a push. I really was. I was hoping he like nudged him with his arm or he pushed him with his hands. I was hoping for it. I really wanted it to be a penalty too. I don't know who would have taken that penalty, mind you. I don't know if João Mario, I think he was off at that point. So we had no more penalty specialists left on the field. So it would have been interesting to see if we had gotten it, who would have taken it. But yeah, I just don't think it is one. Let's see. Grey Wolf is responding. Not upset. Penalty was not given, but could have 50-50. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I'm saying, right? Like, if the ref gives it, VAR isn't going to overturn it. But I think if the ref gives it, it is a bailout penalty, if I'm quite honest. I think a penalty needs to be clear. For me, it wasn't. I think it would have been a soft one. And I don't know. I don't want to win like that. But yeah, sometimes you have to, right? Let's have a look at the stats, Kartal. And while people continue to comment, hopefully we get some more comments of people whether they thought it was a penalty or not. Let's have a look at those stats. You already alluded to the XG earlier. Would you mind going over the stats, Kartal?
Yep, so ball possession 39% to Başakşehir, 61% for us. XG 0.54 for Başakşehir, 0.74 for us. Total shots 11 for them, 12 for us. And this is where I think it's like this. To be honest, man, see if any neutrals are watching this game, they must have fallen asleep because shots on target 1 for Başakşehir, shots on target 1 for Beşiktaş for us.
And ours was a good one. You have to mention that, I think.
Yeah,
that was a good attack, good attempt. Let's see. Yeah.
Was that the one right at the start with Rafa?
Yeah.
No, that was probably the best attack we had all game.
That was the best attack throughout the match for either side, I think.
Yeah, like Misrati's beautiful long ball to Svensson. Svensson very quickly plays it across the ground to Rafa. Rafa takes the shot. But yeah, it wasn't the best of shots, but at least it forced the keeper into a save. Accurate passes 274 for Başakşehir, which was a clip of 78%. He's 499 for us, which is actually quite a lot. 88% accuracy, but most of these were lateral passes, man. That's the problem. Like to the side and to the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like throughout the game, only Misrati and Rafa were the only players that actually tried to take his fault, to be honest. Maybe apart from Zhao twice. Fouls committed 9. Başakşehir 15 from us. Offsides they had 4. We had 0. Maybe shows we played the offside trap quite well. Especially that one position. That they were quite dangerous, but obviously it was offside, so didn't count. 6 corners for them, 2 for us. Duels 1, 57% for them, which was 51 of them. We had 42% at 37. Ground duels 1, 31 to 26 for them, which was 53% for them. Aerial duels 1, 20 to 11 in favour of Başakşehir, so that was 65 to 35%. Successful dribbles, they had 3 successful dribbles all game, which was at a clip of 75%. So that means they only tried 4 all game. It just shows you that they weren't really trying to get forward, to be honest. Apart from maybe right at the start. Yellow cards 3 for Başakşehir, 2 for us, and obviously there were no red cards in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just going.
Yeah.
If there's anything else,
one thing that jumps out to me is the foul count. Something that frustrated me throughout the game is every time Başakşehir went down, he gave a foul. There were two really big moments in the second half. When Rasicka has already come on, I think he steals the ball. I don't think he fouls him, and he's going on goal with one defender, and I think somebody to his left. That is 100% chance, and he calls foul. He bails them out. I don't think it was a foul. I think that is something. I think we kind of got robbed there of a really good opportunity, and then.
I wasn't so sure about that one, man. I thought it could have been a foul, but I wasn't too sure.
There was one little later as well. Similar position, not as promising, but still a dangerous attacking position. And again, he blows his whistle really quickly. And then on the other end, I think the same thing happened a few times where we lose the ball in their area, and they are able to counter dangerously, and he never blows his whistle. Feels to me like a very typical this type of match where one team is playing super physical, which I think Başakşehir were. There were some really, really hard challenges, especially in the first half. There was one from Lucas Lima on I think it was on Svensson, where I don't understand how the referee did not give a foul and didn't give a yellow card. There was one from Crespo as well, who did actually get booked, I think, but I had at least one more before that. There were some really hard challenges. Do you notice this as well, Kartal? I have the feeling that anyone who has a good game against us, they are clearly instructed before the game. Foul them really, really hard because they don't like to get fouled. Because I think we are the definition of a team who don't like to get fouled. Because we are, we don't play like that. I think this is weird to me. 15 fouls for Beşiktaş, 9 for Başakşehir, and if any of them played hard and physical, it was Başakşehir. So I don't know. Beşiktaş is not a team that gets down and gritty. It's not an Atletico Madrid, and somehow in these types of matches where the opponent does make it a physical battle, which you can also see in the duels, I think, somehow we end up making most fouls, and usually soft ones, whereas then they come in with some really hard challenges, and I don't know. Didn't think the referee was particularly good, but we weren't either. And I don't think the referee is to blame for the fact that we were absolutely, once again, just like the Kasımpaşa game, and really like the Malmo game as well. I think our last three matches, and to a lesser extent the Galatasaray match, but it's somewhat understandable in that one. But I really think our last few matches, in terms of going forward, in terms of our inspiration, it is very, very lacking. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we lost the Kasımpaşa game as well, is because we don't threaten the opponents enough. So, it's easier for them to be dangerous then.
And it just goes back to what I was saying last week. It's such a sharp contrast between now and the start of the season, because in the start of the season we were creating chances for fun. Mm-hmm. And we were so excited, but I don't want to go on that rant again. If you want to hear that rant, watch last week.
No, I think it's fair though. It's the fluidity is gone. You said this as well. We had 499 passes in this game, but the tempo was really low. Early in the season, we had a very high tempo, relentless. I think you said something that I said at the beginning of the season, where we were just like the best Beşiktaş I'd seen in terms of just relentlessness and keep on hounding the opponent and bam, bam, bam, not giving up. And that's completely gone right now. And I think that this is in large part because of our absolutely inept wings. But it's not like we had the best wingers in the world in those first couple of games either. It was just Rasicka and Simi. And
obviously Rasicka only getting 20 minutes today and not being fully fit. But the thing is, Rasicka, we bang on about his importance, but at the same time, it's very sad that we bang on about the importance of a player that we all think is not good enough at the same time.
Yeah.
And do you know what that's at this point? Obviously, he has some. He can be a difference maker in some games, and he does actually have some really good games. But like, he doesn't consistently do that. At best, for the most part, he's just a really good workhorse and a water carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still don't understand, man. Like, how the full summer they couldn't find one good winger. One, like, out of all the wingers in the world, like, how can you not find one? And I want to give an example because I mentioned this in our group chats the other day. Right, obviously, I'm from Glasgow. Celtic and Rangers are my local teams. So, although I don't really follow them that much, like, 'cause I really, to be honest, I'm not even a huge football fan. I'm just a Beşiktaş fan, man. Like, I love watching our games. I love following this club. It's my biggest passion in life, outside my wife and my family, is this club. And I'd say I'm more of a Beşiktaş fan than a football fan, but because like all my friends are Celtic fans and I do pay a wee bit of attention to it, I see some of the players they bring in. And a great example I put in the group chat is Nicolas Kuhn. Last January, Celtic signed him from, I think it was right there. It was one of the teams in Vienna. I'm not sure if it was Rapid though. Let me
Austria,
check.
maybe. Austria, Vienna, maybe.
I think it was Austria, Vienna.
That's the same club, I think, where Jan Kilish comes from.
Oh, it was Rapid. It was
Rapid. Okay, I think Jan Kilish is from Austria, Vienna.
Yeah. So they signed this guy called Nicolas Kuhn.
Mm-hmm.
He's a left-footed right winger, and they signed him last January for £3.5 million, which translates to €4.2 million. Last season, he had 3 goals and 3 assists in 18 games, which wasn't that good. It was decent. But so far this season, in 17 games, he's had 9 goals and 11 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the league by fire. He's making a big difference in the Champions League. Really destroyed Leipzig during the week. Obviously, you said Leipzig have been really bad in the Champions League, which is fair. They've had 0 points. But at the same time, it's nothing to be scuffed at because they're second in Bundesliga just now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing something right. They're good domestically. And this guy destroyed them in 17 games. He scored 9 goals and had 11 assists in all competitions. Like, are you trying to tell me that we couldn't find one guy like that that's not overly expensive? Okay, 4.2 million's a decent fee for us. Can we not find one guy like that can come and contribute? Even half that? See if we get someone that contributes half of what he's contributed this season, it'd make a huge difference. That's what I don't understand, man. I really don't understand how they couldn't fill this one huge void in this team. And then, as you said, Karen, we packed the middle of the park. It's really frustrating, man. And now, like, although we started great, and the coach has made mistakes as well, but to me, like, people are saying Gio should be sacked. Gio should not be sacked, man. Like, Gio has been given, he's like been told to build, like, I don't know, a wardrobe, but you don't have all the tools required to build the wardrobe. That's what Gio's got just now. He doesn't have the tools necessary to have a sustained good run. Maybe with a fully fit team, he could, which maybe that's why we saw how good they've been at the start of the season. But as soon as we have some like tiredness or some fatigue or some fitness problems, we're running into issues. We've not won in the last 3 games in the league. We've only won 1 in the last 5, which is terrible. After how good we were at the start, we'd won 5 out of 6 at the start. We had 1 draw. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, how could they not find one winger, man? And at the same time, to me, the fact that they left the team without an alternate striker, like, how can you not have the foresight to think maybe my 34-year-old striker is going to be tired and injured at some point? Like, I think there was some, although the board made a lot of good moves in the summer, but there's been a lot of bad ones as well. And I think overall, when it came to engineering the squad, I think that they've done not half a job, but they've not done a proper job. They've not done it as well as they could.
Yeah, well,
that even we could point out in the summer. So if we can point it out, how can they not identify it?
I mean, let's have a look at those transfers though, because I've said it many times. You can't build a proper squad unless you have like almost no spending limit. But you can't build an entire team over one window. I mean, I know Galatasaray have done it in the past, but also look at the money they spent in those windows. You know, they just don't care. They just throw money. Beşiktaş don't do that. Can't do that. Felix Udokai has been a great signing, I think.
Yeah.
Emirhan Topçu has been a fantastic signing, I think. Gabriel Paulista has been good so far. I didn't really think he was good today, but he was good early on. Then he got injured, obviously.
He's unreliable, man. He's came back from injury in 2 games in a row. He's been lying on the deck for about 5 minutes at some point. It doesn't give me confidence that he's going to be able to stay fit, to be honest.
Yeah. Ndour has been a good addition. I think we can agree on.
He's a good player. I think Ndour's a good player, but was it necessary?
I think he was necessary, but I think also you had to send Onana away. You don't bring in João Mario if you bring in Ndour. But Rafa has been great. Ciro has been good. The fact that he's not scoring. I mean, I've been saying scoring from open play. I've been saying this for weeks, months. I started saying it against Samsun. We are not creating chances for our striker. And up until this game and the Malmo game, you could have argued, well, maybe that's because of Ciro. Maybe he's not moving right, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We've had Simeon in the 9 position the last 2 matches. It's the exact same thing. We are not creating anything for our striker. Simi had a really difficult shot with the back to goal. He had to turn really quick and he had a shot. We actually found him in the box though with a cross. It's a half miracle. But that's not how you supply goals to your striker. That's not how you supply chances to your striker. Like I've been saying it for weeks. Compare it to our rivals. I think put Immobile in either team of our rivals. He's on 15 goals right now. Maybe. I don't know, man. Seriously. Like
it's hard to say.
He's on 8 goals now. And 12 goals. And he doesn't get chances. I mean, obviously a lot of penalties. But still. Yeah. He still has 6 goals from open play as well.
It's funny. The games where we actually did create enough for our striker were by far our best games. Like the Super Cup final, he had a couple of chances. Yeah. Obviously, one of them was off a mistake. Had a few chances against Antalya. To me, that's our best game in the league so far. That 4-2 win. We really should have been a lot more than 4-2.
Oh yeah, that was we got 2 goals disallowed that were clean goals. So that should have.
Look at Lugano at home as well. Like the games where we have created enough for our striker have been games where we thought this was going to be the year, man. Where even despite
but Katal, even in the Lugano game, we didn't create anything for Ciro, I think, or not a lot. He scored off of a deflection from a Masuaku free kick, and then he created his own goal in the second half, where he dummied the defender and rifled it in from a tight angle. Almost the same angle as against who was it 2 weeks ago? Was it against Kasım Pasha in the first half? Yeah. Only the Antalya game we created actual chances for him, and he scored those. Yeah.
Or maybe you're right about the Lugano game.
I mean, look.
Created like 11 chances in that game, but maybe not for specifically.
Yeah. What I do notice is whenever we create a chance in the box, it's usually almost always Rafa on the end of it. Almost always. And yeah.
You could argue that maybe it shows something about him as well and how he's good at it.
Oh, of course. That's I think in part that's because our opponents are focused on locking down our striker, which allows space for Rafa to sneak into, and Rafa is really good at finding those little pockets, and that's why he gets into those positions. But that still doesn't mean that we should be creating this little for our strikers. Our strikers need to be serviced. Today I think Semi had an incredibly ungrateful game. You mentioned after the Malmo match that maybe Semi is a better pivot forward than Ciro. I think today Semi got the Ciro treatment. This is how a striker is treated in the Turkish league. You get marked super tightly. You get bullied by a guy like Opoku.
I thought he was brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah, but the difference is Malmö were looking to play football, were looking for a win. They were giving a little bit of space, whereas Başakşehir were man-marking the shit out of Simi. And the same thing happens to Ciro in every league game. They just get man-marked. It's very difficult. That's also one of those things where, you know, you've heckled Ciro's passing in the past. But you have to keep in mind, he always has a guy glued to his back. Whenever he's coming deep and he's coming to, you know, to pass the ball or whatever, there's a guy in his back. It's very difficult. And then he's getting closed down from 2 angles by the midfielders as well. Cutting off the passing lanes. It's not easy. The same thing we saw today with Simi. It's not easy. Especially when your wingers aren't helping you out. Because your wingers are supposed to drag players with them. But now, with Mucci and with João Mario both being very ineffective, all the opponent really needs to do is close them down. And not even aggressively. Because what happens when you close down Mucci? What does he do?
Passes back.
He passes it back. In the first half, he tried once to get past his man. Didn't get past him. Didn't try it again. Yeah, Rasička came on. He instantly had a few take-ons and a couple of half decent ones. That's the difference. And João Mario and Mucci just aren't doing that. Aren't providing that. We are like a boxer without arms.
Honestly, I think João Mario is a huge disappointment. Huge. Because
for what we got him for, definitely, I think so.
Yeah, he's a huge disappointment. I mean, me and you, we weren't so sure about the transfer when it was announced that he was going to come.
Mm-hmm.
But after you done the interview with Adrian from Rabona, I think we're both looking at it more positively because he said some very good things. But I'm yet to see anything that he was talking about in terms of being a creative spark.
Yeah.
I've yet to see any of that.
Yeah. He's a good football player. I think everyone said today in our group he's a system player. I think that's probably a fair point. I think if you put João Mario in a good team, he'll do okay. But he's clearly not the player to put the team on his back and carry it. That's Rafa is a player like that, but he needs help and he's not getting any help.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like Batman's going around, but there's no Robin. You know what I mean? Like everyone's a sidekick, man, and Rafa's not got one just now, unfortunately.
It's more like the Avengers, but only Captain America's playing. You know?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, even today, I think today actually was one of the best examples of Rafa, because I think in the past we've had the games where he has 3-4 good moments, but he loses the ball a lot or whatever. I thought Rafa today was really good. I think he was man of the match.
If you look at his, if you look at Fotmob, he was the man of the match, and for me, it's him or Mustrai, because I think Mustrai had a really good game as well. I think
a decent match.
He took us forward. He had a lot of very good interceptions, won some crucial balls. There was a couple of times he did kind of almost mess up himself, but he recovered and won us the ball back. Mm-hmm. So I think Mustrai had a good game as well, but I'd say maybe Rafa won this.
Musrati had a few mistakes in him. I remember a moment in the first half where I think it might have been Mucci who tried to play a 1-2 with him and it didn't come off well. And then another moment, I think maybe in the second half, where he had to play a relatively simple pass and it didn't come off and got intercepted. But Rafa, I don't remember a really bad moment from him. I thought he had a really good game, but he's alone, man. It felt like he's alone. Today, Mucci wasn't good. Semi wasn't good. João Mario wasn't good. Jetson
was okay.
Was okay, well, but that's like you can't have from your front four I'm including Rafa in that. If 3 of your front 4 are getting bullied or are having a great, like I think Joao Mario was probably the best from the 3, sorry, where he didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't really do a lot of good either. Mucci did. I don't know, maybe he had one moment or something, or yeah, it wasn't terrible. I didn't think Mucci was terrible, but he wasn't good either. And Semi was, yeah, they had him locked down. What can you say? I don't want to be overly harsh on Semi because I feel like I've been really harsh on him lately, and I actually think he didn't do any. I don't think he did anything wrong today. He was just, they eliminated him completely. They took him out of the game.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, probably Rafa number 1 with strategy too. Would you agree with that? Maybe Svensson number 3. With the Kai.
Yeah, for me, Rafa was the best, was the Black Eagle of the match. So let us know in the comments as well, guys, what you think, who you thought was the best player for Beşiktaş, despite the disappointing result, of course. Do you mind going through some of the comments for us, Kartal? I don't know if you have those up.
Yeah, no, I can just get it on my phone right now. Yeah, just go on YouTube. I was looking to see if I had it open in one of my tabs, but I don't, but I've got it now. Okay, right, so our first comment is from the notorious Yusuf. Not having a winger is the number 1 reason, but Gio keeps making late / strong subs. Never before 65. Semi out and then Mustafa in. Sarri never getting more than 5 minutes. Mucci on for 90 minutes every game. And to be honest, was Semi that good that we can be angry about him coming off? Not really.
No, I don't think so.
I understand where Yusuf is coming from, and I do agree Gio's making a lot of mistakes in this recent run. This bad run.
I don't know what mistake did he make today, honestly. I mean, people will point to the Semi sub, but
not today per se, but I think in general there's been mistakes, man.
Yeah, of course, but I think every coach makes mistakes. I don't think he did anything. I mean, I'm confident that people will say this, he should never have taken Semi off, and maybe they're not wrong, because I think he didn't sub Semi for Mustafa. By the way, he subbed Semi for.
Yeah, he didn't. It was Semi for. Let me think.
Endo or something. Or I don't even remember if he put in. Sadi came on later.
I forget.
He put on Rasička, and I thought he put somebody else on, but I don't remember exactly who it might have been.
Yeah. So it was.
But we looked better after that, by the way. When Rasička came on, that was our most dangerous period of the game, I thought. And with Simi, I honestly, I didn't think we missed Simi. Other than when Mustafa came on, he didn't have a single proper touch. And I think Simi would have done better with what the balls Mustafa got.
So that was right, Can. So it was Rashica that came on in the 66th minute for Simi. And then the next substitution was, let me see.
Sali and Mustafa on for Mucci and Joao Mario, I think.
That's right. Yep, spot on. I mean, to be fair, Sari had a great pass to Mustafa.
He could have gone on earlier.
But you see, Keman, he done very well defending that. Do you not think so?
Yeah, but I think experienced attacker probably does more with that. But maybe I might be harsh on Mustafa there.
If it's not actually for that challenge, that's a 100% opportunity, man, because he's getting the ball in front of goal, but it was a great slide. I also thought Sarri did have one overhit pass spot to Rafa. Like, see that one where if he hit it a bit, if he weighted it a bit better, that probably would have been a great goal scoring chance. But unfortunately, it was just too much on it. And then Jedson had a sloppy pass at the end as well.
Yeah. If he plays that properly, that's another dangerous opportunity.
I mean, again, we're really lacking with that final ball. Unfortunately, I was talking about in the Galatasaray game.
When Rasička was playing before he got injured, he had the occasional really good through ball on Rafa and stuff like that really could rip teams open. That's how Rafa got how they got the red card, I think, against Antalya. Antalya got the red card against Rafa like that, and I mean, there's that, right? We don't have that enough. Like, there's not enough creative sparks. And we were talking about Sali on the last episode as well. I don't know who he has to come on for, but I do think he is. I mean, honestly, Sali isn't the winger, but neither is Mucci. Maybe we should try Sali there, because I think Sali has a lot more in him. He can cross the ball, he is creative, he sees it, he has good vision. And Mucci doesn't, man. Like, he just doesn't.
Well, this is. I mean, Sari's never really played as a winger.
I know, but
I mean, what about this? What about Chamberlain? Instead of sitting on his ass,
but he's injured, right? Is he not?
No, he's came back.
Has he come back? Yeah, okay. I actually wanted to mention that in our group chat, I was thinking about, like, I put Oxen in a match like this if he wasn't injured, but I wasn't aware that he was back. But that's right.
So put him on the right mid if you need it.
Yeah,
put him in.
Yeah. I think.
Ox is a centre mid just now and been turned into that Liverpool, but when he played for Arsenal, he was away.
Yeah, you said on the last episode that Gio has been tinkering a lot. And I just think that Mucci and Joao Mario, that's quite clearly that doesn't work. So I think he should tinker some more, and he should give some other people some chances in those positions. Don't play both of them, because it just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, but I think it all comes down to, man, like, we really had to get that winger. And I think that's really cost us, man, this season. Maybe that one winger makes a huge, and we're still in the title race.
Yeah, I think so. I think that this period now, where we've dropped points 3 games in a row, and also the Gaziantep game, and I think one quality winger fit, of course, could have made a big difference, could have made a big impact. But again, I've said this many times, it is a glaring lacking in our squad, but.
But we could see, man, and we could see that in the summer.
Yeah, we could get that, but the budget still needs to be there. The money still needs to be there. And I think if you want to bring in a guy that's going to make the difference straight away, because you just mentioned this Köln guy, you also said, last season he played 18 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. Like, if you want to get somebody in that's immediately going to have an impact like Rafa, then you have to dip deep in your pocket. And I don't think we had that budget. But
I think you can find it. If you have the network, you can find someone that's going to make an instant impact.
Yeah, that's easily said, man. That's easily said.
Look, that Kuhn guy's not the only player Celtic have signed that's been really. They've signed so many players for cheap.
Yeah, they do, but you also need to keep in mind they sign talented young players. I don't know how old this Kuhn guy is, but Celtic tend to go for talented young players. Like last season, they had that Danish guy with the English name. What's his name?
Matt O'Reilly. Look, they paid £1.5 million for him. Well, pounds.
Yeah,
and he was amazing straight away from the get-go.
Yeah, but Qatar.
2.5 years and they sold him for 25 million.
Yes, but they are Celtic. Players want to go to Celtic because they know it's a launching pad. Those players with those ambitions, the players that go to Celtic, usually aren't the types of players that'll go to Turkey. Because not yet, at least, because they want to make that big move to the Premier League or whatever. And if you
we could, if we go for it, there's no reason why not, because we pay better wages. Like, Ernest Mucci supposedly wanted to go to the Premier League, but he came to us. So, and we do pay more wages.
But we paid 10 million euros for Ernest Mucci as well, huh?
If you pay a bit more in terms of wages, man, there's no reason why you can't attract these players to come and play for us.
I don't think it's that simple, man. I think players with a good career plan don't come to Turkey, don't come to Beşiktaş at 22.
Look at Galatasaray. I mean, look at Sacha Boey, for example.
Yeah, but Sacha Boey was not a high-profile talent in France or anything either, huh?
Look at Ferdi Kadıoğlu as well. Like, obviously he was at Fenerbahçe for years, but
we could have had Ferdi, we could have had Orkun. Yeah. It's not that we haven't found these players. It's not that we haven't been aware of these players. The problem is that in those periods, the people making the decisions axed those moves or fumbled them.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at here, Can, is that these guys, like your Faraday Cardolo, your Sasha Boys, they're proof that Turkey can be used as a launching pad.
It can, yeah,
So-
of course it can, but
To break that narrative, which I think is breaking already. So it's not as if it's not been done. So I think maybe, like, obviously I do understand where you're coming from, and I agree as well, but I think maybe you are trying to make a bit of an excuse for the board here, when I think you know as well that they should have at least found someone, man. Like, I think you do believe that deep down too, man.
I would not have spent, I've said this many times, I would not have spent the almost 3 million euros on Jan Kelesh. That we threw that money away. But
Down the toilet.
But down the toilet. But I honestly, yeah, for 3 million, I don't think you get a really good winger either.
I mean, look, that guy as well, 4.2 million euros. They signed this guy, man, and I could put, if I was to look hard enough, I could find other examples, man.
But when a Turkish club comes knocking, that price immediately goes up. Trust me, because they know Turkish clubs have more money. Price goes up. The player
they know we're fucking stupid.
And the players themselves, they are not eager for it, man. They aren't. Like, for example, now Maxime de Kuiper, he was linked in the summer with Beşiktaş, with Galatasaray, with Fenerbahçe. Maxime de Kuiper isn't going to go to Turkey. He's coming off of a great season in the league in Belgium, career season with like 18, 17 assists or something as a left back. Then he got his first call up for the Belgian national team, things like that. And it's like, yeah, you can be interested all you want in a player like that. First and foremost, you'll have to pay probably 20 million or something. But like, I can tell you, a young Belgian player here in the Belgian league, like, they don't want to go to Turkey, man. Trust me.
But it's not about, see, Maxime de Kuiper, it's not about
No,
him.
but I think what you need to understand is that, like, they look down their nose at the Turkish league. People in Scandinavia, people in Germany, everywhere, man. Western Europe, they all look. The Turkish league is a retirement league. That is the perception, and they all look down their nose and they don't want to go there. You'll find the occasional player who's willing to take the leap and willing to take the chance, but the majority of players don't want to go to Turkey. And you can say that perception is changing because a couple of players have gone to the Premier League now and stuff like that, but it has to happen much more consistently. You can't compare that to players going from the Dutch league to top 5 leagues. You can't compare it to players going from even the Scottish league to the top 5 leagues. You just can't. Like, look at the careers that Van Dijk has had, for example. Name one player that came from Turkey that had a career like that.
None, well, because Van Dijk's one of the best centre backs of all time, probably at this point. But the key is, but you find the Cooper before he explodes at Bruges. I agree with you. There's no way we are going to get a player that's exploded at Bruges, but you need to find that talent before that happens, and then you get a chance.
Yeah, but you don't have a chance at a good player in Belgium. Trust me, like Anderlecht, Genk, Brugge, Gent, they're all over those kids, man. Like, you can do that in Scandinavia, maybe because the clubs aren't, like, the top teams there aren't at a similar level. So there's definitely areas in the world where you can do that. I don't get me wrong. I definitely think we should be. And in fact, I think the new foreign limit will encourage that. So, like, I think this new foreign limit actually isn't as bad if it just didn't have that stupid rule about the 75% international games for players who were older, like the 3 players that you can still bring in, because I think that seriously handcuffs the clubs. But I think that the rule that sub 24-year young players, you can get them as much as you want, I think that's a good initiative, and that could result into us going into those leagues and looking for those talents. Because right now, like, for example, Matej Mitrovic, back when we got him, that was a risky move because we needed him to be there, we needed him to be ready, we needed him to have an instant impact. now you can, like, with this new, if this new rule works the way we think it does, you can actually take some more risks. And instead of wasting 2.75 million euros on Can Keleş, who clearly isn't good enough to play for Beşiktaş, you can take 2 million. You can maybe gamble on a Ligue 2 prospect, or maybe somebody that I don't know, plays in Scandinavia, for example. Hammarby has a fantastic player on left winger right now. I've mentioned him a few times. Toure is 18 years old. Like, that's someone we should be going for example. Give them 4 or 5 million. Get that kid. He's fantastic. But right now, with how the foreign limit works currently, I think Turkish clubs are discouraged from taking gambles like that. So it's not just on Beşiktaş. I think it's a general issue in Turkey, because how many talents can you name that even Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe over the years have gotten like that? Like, you know, Elif Elmas is one, Boe is another, but all in all, it's relatively limited, right? Kim Min-jae was one as well, but at least even Kim Min-jae was like 25 or 24.
Oh, Cal, before he went off the rails, like they made great money for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's an unknown player.
But it's a player once every 2 seasons or something, right? And in Scotland, like Celtic, how you just said it, how many players did they sign and flipped, and like they're also a brand, as Celtic are known for that. So they're trusted. It's like cars, you know? It's like why an Ajax player, if he's half decent, costs 50 million. You know?
I still think like we can do better in that regard than we can start. Like,
yes,
I'm sure
of course,
we could have found a decent winger from League 2 for 2.75 million euros. I'm sure we could have, man.
Maybe,
if
yeah.
They actually and they had the right people. Like, why not?
Mm.
For example, that league you mentioned, League 2, that league's known as a goldmine for talent, for untapped talent.
Ooh, what league? League 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Kartal. I'm really not. But the problem is we had so many restraints in the summer. We had the foreign limit. We had players not wanting to leave. We had budget issues, financial fair play. All of that you have to make. You have to comply with financial fair play. You have to comply with the limits from the league. You have to balance the amount of foreigners you have.
There's ways you can play out of the financial fair play, but you can do what you done with João Mario. Like pay the fee next year.
You can. Not every club is going to be willing to do that. A talented player, they're going to want money up front. João Mario is a 31-year-old player who they probably wanted off their books because he was making a lot of money. They're going to be more amicable to a flexible deal. When you're going to want to sign one of a club's best players who's very talented, who probably has a lot of other suitors, like for example Ryan Cherki, for example. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think they're gonna be so flexible.
I think that money for Can Keleş could have been used to find a very, very good young talented winger from like a lesser watched league for sure, man.
Maybe.
Like,
yeah, I think Toure from Hammarby. I don't know what they paid for him, but it couldn't have been more than 2 million, I think. And he's gonna make a big move to the Premier League, I'm sure. There's already clubs circling right now. I've been talking about him for 6 months. If I've mentioned him a few times.
I've seen that, but like, yeah, man. Like a lot of people are calling for Gio's head. As much as I'm frustrated and I understand that in moments of frustration, you say things without really thinking them through, man. I think we just need to see out this year, at least with the coach. If we make some good moves in January and there's no improvement, at the end of the season you can say, we'll see you later. It's to bring someone else in.
If you bring in a good winger or even, if you bring in 2-3 good players that we need in January, and then it still is like this, but I don't think it will be, because I think Gio has already changed a lot of things in a positive way. We aren't conceding stupid goals every game anymore. Okay, Kasım Pasha notwithstanding, but other than that, we have been extremely stable at the back. Our back line has been good. Felix and whoever he's partnered with, whether it's Emirhan or Gabriel Paulista, works out well. I think we're even today, like last year, we always lose this game. Okay, we couldn't find the goal today, but I think we were still stable and in control for the most part. Not that they didn't have their dangerous moments, but they're bound to have that when it's 0-0. So I still think that where we were last season and where we are now, we are miles ahead. I think if we would have put ourselves a realistic curve, I think we are probably where we kind of would hope to be with this squad. But
not in terms of like points on the table. But
maybe I don't know. I think 21 points is not great, but
yeah, but I'm sure we had the same amount of points.
Yeah. But we collapsed, right? I think our season start last season wasn't that terrible, but then like after the Lugano game, we kind of collapsed, and I definitely think we will have a higher point total this season if we bring in the right players in January. I don't think we have to worry about that as long as we do that.
Way better. I'm sure we will too, especially if the right transfers are made. But like in terms of like points on the table, we're probably not where we've not seen much improvement. But I do agree that we're seeing improvement on the field. Like the defense is a lot better. The defense is good, but yeah, just recently.
Also, better players. We have to admit that too. Of course, like compared to last season, I think the tools at the disposal of the coach are much better. But I don't know. Maybe a better coach. If you have Hansi Flick, he gets a lot more out of this team. That's very plausible. But I don't know. I think we all see the deficiencies, and I think we all kind of see why it's not working, and I don't really see an answer. Like, do you?
I think we need some wingers, man.
Yeah, but you can't bring in wingers now, Kartal. So right now, do you see an easy fix that Gio doesn't see? Because I don't.
I think we just need to maybe try and up the speed in the passing. I think that's maybe a bit slow. We need to get faster at moving the ball about.
Yeah, but I don't think Gio tells them to pass slowly.
Also, at the same time, obviously, like a big thing is that Ashika being fully fit and being able to start games again, like that will make a big difference. But other than that, no.
Yeah. Shall we continue with some of the comments, because I kind of drag you off that course?
Yeah, we can do that. Maybe another thing I thought about as well was like maybe make some changes earlier.
Yeah.
Like I think.
But what change? But today I think Sali. He can definitely put Sali in a lot earlier. He could have put him on for João Mario. Could have put him on for Mucci. But other than Rashica, I don't. The fact that he has to bring on that he feels he has to bring on Mustafa. I think that shows how little options he has, right? He could have tried Can Kelesh again, maybe. Maybe he should just start with Can Kelesh. Like that's the only thing. Like we saw him against Kasımpaşa and it wasn't good, but maybe he needs to get a run, because it's kind of harsh to say, okay, this guy is absolutely dog shit and rubbish based on 2 sub appearances for some garbage minutes.
Yeah, that's fair, man, but the fact that the coach hasn't really trusted him at all kind of tells you what you need to know, I think. Anyway, I can't even remember where I was. So we said I think I was on the first comment, to be honest. So
possibly.
So Gray Wolfe said that I think we mentioned this already. He thinks it was 50-50, so he's not upset about it. He thinks there might have been a push. I wouldn't say there's a push if you watch if you watch it on Twitter, I think there's quite clear a kick to the shin.
I think a kick is like embellishing a little bit, honestly.
Well, there's contact on the shin.
There's contact, but I don't think it's a kick.
But Gray Wolf said it's not really. We can't really blame that. We had 90 minutes to score and we couldn't, which I think that's fair. Like we were fucking shit at chance creation again.
Mm-hmm.
Uzkan Zarzawachi said it's one of those that he agrees with the Grey Wolf that it was 50-50. Grey Wolf says, so looks like the season is over and only hope to finish second or third. I agree. Unfortunately, well, I think we can have a good run in Europe, hopefully, and try and win the cup as well. But in the league, second or third, that's
With a good transfer window in January, if we can stop dropping points left and right until then, I think we can still go on a really good run and we could surprise. But yeah, of course, the title is very far away.
we're 10 points back.
Yeah.
Let's see. Uzkan again says it can be given and sometimes not. Whatever happens in these scenarios, someone's upset and some say it wasn't and some say it was, etc. And he says Uzkan again, so it's a few comments in a row from Uzkan. So he says, yeah, I agree, we've been this season already, shame. But that said, I had no expectation coming in, so I'd be happy with a solid rest of the season to build on. I mean, I get maybe Uzkan's maybe thinking in terms of our squad and stuff like that. I didn't have high expectations, but I mean, I think most people had high expectations, or not, maybe not the expectation, but the belief that we could do it after how well we started, because we were at the start of the season, we were playing brilliant and the results were good as well.
Yeah, I think if we have a little bit more luck on our side, I think it's a completely different. I don't think it's like last season. I didn't feel like we've been unlucky. Last season I think we deserved where we were. This season I do feel like if a couple of things go our way, we're in a different position right now, and I think that alone is a compliment to what we have, where we've come from. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's just hoping, Uzkan's hoping that we smash Maccabi into oblivion.
I mean, people have been saying that. Like, I don't see it happening unless Rasicka is fit, which he should be by then. But like, I that's something I actually, please remember where you were, Katla. But I really wonder: is Rasicka going to join Kosovo this international break? I think he shouldn't. If he does, I think that's like betrayal, man. Like, he should not be joining Kosovo. Like, he has to rest. He has to fully heal up. If he goes and he plays for Kosovo, even joining the national team camp, a lot is not okay in my opinion. He should be with the team for these 2 weeks. He should be recovering fully. He needs to be ready after the international break. If he goes to join Kosovo, I'm gonna be really upset.
Because he's the only chance we have of really salvaging anything up until January, I think, if him staying fit. It's the way we got absolutely no wingers now. So Sinan, how you doing, Sinan? Hopefully you're feeling better.
Sinan.
Yeah, geçmiş olsun, bro. Hopefully you're feeling a bit better. I know it's hard when we're this shit. I mean, I was in your situation a couple of weeks ago. I had a stomach bug as well and was been vomiting a lot.
It's my turn next. That means that you guys will be stuck on one camera setting.
Yeah, with no producer, man. Well, hopefully not, man. Knock on wood. You stay healthy, bro. So he says, hey fellas, bit under the weather. Not because we couldn't create any chances. So he's saying he actually is unwell. It's not because we were shit.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, he said, I was in and out of this one, missed major stretches, but it seemed like they always had like 8 guys in the box. We had 33 touches in their box, but created zip. Was it anti-football or is that harsh? I think they just had a really good defensive plan. Can, what do you think?
It's not difficult, I think, right now to lock Beşiktaş. They've been doing it all season, even when Rasicka was fit. All our opponents that had a good game against us, like for example Sivasspor, they locked up the middle completely because they know if they lock the middle, they contain Rafa to the best of their ability. But now you have the added issue where we don't have any quality on the wings. So if you lock the center, it's pretty easy then against us right now. That's the difference with our opponents, because they have multiple players that can create issues for the opponent, and we only have one. We only have Rafa. You don't even need to have great options. You don't need to have Ricardo Quaresma level players, but you need to have Yunus Agun, you need to have Milot Rasička, you need to have Barış Alper Yilmaz, İrfan Can Kahveci. Tadic is a great player, of course, but like Maximin, like he creates so much chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are not average players, obviously. Yunus, for example, is having a fantastic season. I don't think Barış Alper is having a good season, but like Yunus has been really good. Maximin is, he's not a killer, but he creates so much issues because every time he's running at the opponent, he's doing take-ons, he's beating his man, he's consistently creating chaos. Tadic is a super intelligent footballer, and they have multiple players like that who can create problems. We only have one. Rafa is super intelligent, super skillful. He's a fantastic player. I think he slots in with both our rivals. He starts every game. If they get him, starts every game. But he's the only one on our team who does that. Like I said in this last episode against Malmö, the only players who consistently take players on, the only player who does it consistently and does it good is Rafa, and the only other player who takes a lot of risks is Semi. But his result is usually, it's hit and miss. But that's it. That's all we have right now.
Yeah, obviously if you have to think about Masuaku as well, I'd include him, but he's a left back.
Yeah, but Masuaku, like he does take on his man. He does do dribbles. He tried it a few times this game again, but like almost never a good delivery, almost never a good decision. It's yeah. Masuaku is a good football player, but he's not a great football player. And he's also super, super, super unfocused. A couple of moments again today where I had to roll my eyes, where I'm like,
He almost ruined the offside trap as well for that position he had. Like he was almost keeping the guy onside. But luckily he tucked in enough.
The fact that he is a Banco starter still also, I think, tells that we are nowhere near where we need to be with this squad to consistently play well. I think we need someone else there. Felix and Emirhan/Paulista is fine. Those are great. You don't have to do anything there. Svensson, you can easily still go a season with that. Mert, you know what? I'm not the biggest Mert fan, but whatever. He's not an issue. Masuaku is somebody that needs replacing. The midfield, 3, that's set. That's locked. But then the left wing, the right wing, those are issues, and then you need a backup for Chiro. Semi can be a backup, but I still think even if Semi is the second choice, you still need a tall, burly striker that can be a battering ram. You need that. In a game like this, we really could have used it as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Anyway, I'll get back to these comments. So Yusuf said it wasn't a penalty too soft for him. So he's in agreement with Yukan. Grey Wolf, the Boscourt, says the players seem to have no urgency when the score is tied or losing. They were losing 2-0 against Galatasaray and they were wasting time. No urgency or nothing. I agree that I think by that it means we're just playing too slow, which I agree with.
Low pace, no tempo. Yeah.
We need up the tempo and get it to where it was.
The tempo is nowhere near where it needs to be. You're not going to... This is also one of the reasons why when Musrati came on against Malmö, we immediately created a couple of chances, because normally we pass the ball around a lot, the famous horseshoe you were talking about at the beginning of the season, Kartal. But the problem is that the tempo in that horseshoe is so low, and we pass over way too many passing stations, and Musrati skips that and makes it a lot quicker. And even in this game, a few times he managed to do that. But the problem is, Musrati needs players on the wings to launch. And with Mucci and João Mario, he doesn't have anyone he can launch. Because
that one to Svensson was brilliant at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And Svensson and Rafa.
Yeah.
I think Musrati, I've said this a few times, man, but I think Musrati was one of our players that was actually good enough today.
A
good game. Let's see.
I don't think, against Kasımpaşa, there were a couple of players that you could point to, and you said they played a dog shit match. Today, I didn't feel like anyone was super bad, but like the majority of players had like a 5 or a 6. You know, like they weren't good either. They were just bland. They tasted like one of those meals you buy in the supermarket that's ready to put in the microwave without taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've ate a lot of them, man. They're not great, but when you're a lazy bastard like me, sometimes the result of that. Let's see. So continue with the comments. Arteljan said that Sadio Chan created one chance and he played 6 minutes. Yep, that's right. He did. He created that chance for Mustafa. Maybe if Mustafa's a bit quicker there, he gets the shot off and it's a goal. But no, it was very good defending from Kevin, being able to slide in and stop that. So fair play to him, man. Sinan says he needs more angles on the penalty replay. He says it might have been soft, but he needs to see if there was contact with the leg. For me, there was definitely contact with the shin. But yeah, Sinan, if you just look at our group chat, bro, I've sent in a video there that's in slow motion. So if you want to have a look at that and then maybe comment again, if you've made up your mind.
Do you want me to pull it up?
No, we don't against. So, Grey Wolf, or I prefer saying Bozkurt, which is the Turkish. In your opinion, who's the best wingers that played for Beşiktaş? Well, for me, Quaresma number 1, for sure. Who would be my number 2? I don't know, man.
Rashid Ghazal.
Probably Ghazal, man, unless you want to go like way back to Metin Ayfeaz's era. But I think Metin was like a winger on paper, but it was more of a free role he played in. That's what my dad said. Obviously, it was my dad that watched him, not me.
It's also a very different era in football where, you know, wingers were something different than they are today, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Quaresma and Ghazal are a good shout.
Yeah, like in the 2000s, you know, when I started watching in 2001, I started watching consistently every match. For the longest time, I thought we didn't have good wingers. Beşiktaş never had good wingers. You know, Galatasaray in the mid 2000s, they had like Abdülkadir Keita, and Fenerbahçe had a few half decent wingers. They even had Serhat playing as a winger, and he did okay. I can't really think of any really great Fenerbahçe wingers from that era either, honestly. But like we had Serdar Özkan, and like we didn't have wingers, man, back then. Like,
I liked him.
Yeah, well, like for example, like when we won the league under Lucescu, we didn't really play with real wingers. Like Ibrahim Üzülmez was our left back, and we played 3-5-2 a lot, I think. And so he played he played essentially as a winger, and on the right, I feel like we constantly changed who was playing there. It was very different. So in like the 2000s, there wasn't really, we didn't really have wingers, I felt like, or at least not good ones. And then, yeah, obviously in 2010 we signed Quaresma, and he instantly became the best winger I ever saw put on the shirt. To this day, he remains that player. I don't even think it's close. I don't think anyone comes close to what Quaresma did. Ghazal is the one that comes closest, but Ghazal, yeah.
Because he was chronically injured the last 2 years.
I mean, a fit Ghazal, I would still take him any day. Like, if Ghazal was fit, instantly he would still be a star player right now for us if he was fit. But he can't stay healthy. He signed for Rizespor now, and it's one of I'm sure all of you have been noticing, you know, all the funny stuff that Sergen has been saying. One of the things he said was that he would have kept Ghazal. He's playing for like 850k at Rizespor now. It's like, sorry, Sergen. He's played 116 minutes when you made that comment. I think since he played against Trabzon now as well. But like, guy has like 200 minutes on the field or something, man. Like in the season, we're 1500 minutes plus in, and he played 200 minutes. Like, yeah. If Ghazal could be fit, like, I mean, at the end of the season, big part of the reason we won the cup was also Rashid Ghazal. You know, he was good. He was really good, and he risked everything for that match because he wasn't fit. Because if you remember, he was supposed to be out for the season, but he played with injections, and he probably shortened his career by doing so. And you know, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because he's a fantastic player. He gave a lot for the club. I am really sad that he had so many injuries because he's one of the best players I've seen play for us, especially on the wing. But He just couldn't stay healthy, man.
Yeah, in those last 2 years, before, like if it wasn't for like Valerie Smith playing him when he was up, maybe that would have never happened, and he would have had a great last 2 years of Beşiktaş, and
maybe
probably still here just now.
He would still be. He would, if he would not have been chronically injured now, he would still be here, and he'd still be he would be take our set piece problem would be fixed because we would have a proper set piece taker. We'd have a creative winger. We'd have someone who isn't afraid to take on players, who can create chances. We would be in a completely different position right now. But unfortunately, Rachid Ghazal can't stay healthy.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, that was a shame because he really cared about Beşiktaş, man. If anyone watched the documentary after the cup final, man, like he had a great speech that really got amped up before the final.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Very passionate. And yeah, man, he's a special. Quaresma obviously number one, but Ghazal was a special player for us.
Yeah.
And obviously the MVP in our last title back in 2021.
And we can't downplay how important he was even in that cup. The reason we are in Europe right now is in part thanks to Rachid Ghazal.
Yeah.
Also thanks to Muleka and Salih and Masua and Musrati, but you know, Rachid Ghazal played a great game.
See, so Atılcan saying that Rafa had a sloppy pass, like Musrati did. He wasted a very simple pass to the wing that went straight to the defender, but it was on target. But if it was on target, we'd have been in the box on goal.
Okay.
To be honest, I can't remember, but it probably did happen, man.
Yeah, probably. But still, I think he had a really, really good game. Unfortunately, he was one of the few guys that did.
Sinan's upset because we've made Marvel references while he's not here to participate. I'm sorry, bro. I do apologise.
Yeah, he's our Captain America.
Yeah, that's right, man.
I pulled a Trump during halftime because I told everyone in one of my friend chats that Ndur was coming on, so everyone was already panicking like, oh no, you better not be taking Musrati off. So I lied, pulled the Trump.
Let's see. Right. Grey Wolf again, or Boskurt, man, as I prefer to say. Do you think Beşiktaş will be patient with Gio despite poor performances, or will we do the typical Turkish thing and fire him?
I think we will be patient.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I think it's a mistake to fire him now. There's no point.
Yeah. I mean, I think my analogies are often spot on in this podcast. I think my one about not having the correct tools in the toolbox, like not having a full set of tools, is important. I think we need to at least give him those tools, man. Give him that winger, a left back, another striker. To be honest, I think we need two wingers. And then if things don't improve and we're still like this at the end of the season, then you can part ways. But
we spoke about this when we first signed him as well, Kartal, how he wasn't backed at Rangers. He didn't get the transfers he needed. And I think at the beginning of the season, I said very delighted that he's definitely getting backed. Because, I think he did get, he got Chiro, he got Rafa, he got a bunch of good players. He got Felix, Gabriel, Emirhan. I think we brought in a lot of good players. I think we did. The problem is that we are coming from such a bad season, such a bad squad. There's so much work. There's so many players that needed replacing that it was just simply impossible to do it all. However, I do have to agree with you, Kartal. I think if we would have just signed a good winger, we would be in a completely different position right now. So don't sign Jan Kelesh, don't sign Joao Mario. Take that money and sign a good winger, and I think we're in a different position right now. I fully agree with you on that. So it's not that the board did not make mistakes; they definitely did. But I also think you can't be too hard because they did still manage to sign Rafa. Felix, I think, has been amazing, almost flawless every match. So I mean, a lot of good stuff has been done as well, and I think Gio.
Yeah, I think Udokai is the best signing. If you ask why, is because he's only 27 years old. He's a player that he can play for us for maybe 10 years if he looks after himself.
Emirhan too, I think. Emirhan is also a really good signing.
I think Felix, in terms of like the fact that we always get that longevity now, and he's ready now. He's one of the leaders in defence. So Emirhan is another great signing. I think maybe those two are the best in terms of longevity. Obviously, Rafa is an amazing signing
Rafa's
as
an
well.
amazing signing too. Yeah. I mean, I know you're not super high on him, but I obviously in terms of longevity, it's not great. But I still think Chiro is a great signing too. I wasn't super keen on it when we did it, but what I've seen from him, I think people are being a little harsh. I think again, if you put players around him that will feed him the ball, I think he scores 30 goals in our league, minimum 20, minimum 25.
If he does win, that'd be brilliant.
But he's not doing it now because we don't have players giving him the ball. But
hopefully we address that issue in January, and then we can see.
Yeah.
We can show half that in the second half of the season.
Supposedly they're working hard on it already, Cartel. And one of the names that's being thrown around at the moment is Domenico Berardi from Sassuolo. He's also Italian. He's 30 years old, just coming off of a nasty injury. I think he had a knee injury and he was out for a long time. But he is actually doing well. Serie B at the moment. But he is a former Italian international. If you look at his stats, they are pretty phenomenal. At the moment, I know you're going to like this. He's played 5 games only this season so far because he's only just come back from that injury. With 4.04 chances created per 90.
Yeah. But that's an issue though, that the fact he's just back from injury gives question marks.
Of course.
But hopefully if he signs, and I believe he's 30 years old as well, which isn't ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, if he can come and create full chances a game.
Also a good set piece taker.
Yeah. Come tomorrow, man, I'd say, obviously.
I'm just saying that's one of the names that's being thrown around. I think we will have to sign someone. The problem is right now, I think we as fans, Karel, we're all counting down for January at the moment. And we're all counting it down. And I think we're going to be very disappointed come January because they will work their socks off to bring someone. But if Ox, Onana, and whoever else can be a party pooper doesn't move on quick enough, we might be in the waiting room for a while.
Yeah, no, you're right, bro. That's going to be a task in itself. Just try to offload. Like we had done so much in the summer, but there's still players that need to go, unfortunately.
Have you seen the Marquez Zainudin have got interviewed over the last couple of days? Did you see those quotes?
Yeah, apparently Gio asked him to stay, but I don't believe.
I don't know. I mean, he also wanted Onana to stay. I think I have the sense that Gio was kind of nervous about his squad going into the season because it was so thin, and I think he wanted to keep some players that he probably should have let go, and then maybe things could have been different. Don't want to put the blame on Gio, but
yeah, I'll get on with the comments. Let's see. Right. Yep, so Athiljan said the subs are so late. We've agreed with that. In general, that he just waits kind of too long. Siran King Felix might be my man of the match. I mean, he was definitely very good, but I think for me, Rafa number 1, Musrati number 2. Sarpar says it is so hard to support the coach now, but I hope somehow he can finish the year. I think we can't bring any better coach, and Gio is a teacher of kind.
Yeah.
Look, that's the point, man. Like, see now, see if we sack him as well, any decent coach is going to say, look, that's not a serious club.
Of course.
Because they change our manager more than that change Monderville. That's what they're going to think.
And if
taken seriously, we need to at least let the coaches stick out for at least that season. If you want to be taken seriously.
And if you sack Gio, for example, and you bring in Sergen, what's gonna happen? He's going to bring in his own technical staff. Maybe McElhenney, or how do you pronounce his name, gets sent on his way and stuff. I think we have put a structure in place now with a coaching staff. I think we just need to see it through. From this game, this doesn't to me scream Gio needs to go. This just screams there's a personnel issue.
Yeah, I agree, man.
And there's not much we can do about that until January. Hopefully, after this international break, when Rasishka back to full fitness, hopefully we can see better football. But it won't be easy because the next game is Göztepe at home, which is one of the flash teams in the league. And then the home game after that is Fenerbahce. So it's not an easy schedule. We have Maccabi Tel Aviv as well, and then I'm sure we have some away game in between, which is eluding me at the moment. But our schedule isn't easy going into December.
Yeah, and Sinan's made a great point that me and you have reiterated several times on this podcast. Last week and this week, you can't fire Gio until he fails with an actual full squad. Our problem is pretty clearly a personnel issue, which we fully agree with. Artiljan says for €3 million you can get Jan Kirish. Well, he's joking, but I just don't think that's true. I think for €3 million you can find a lot of gems.
Man, I was so upset with that transfer since day one, man. Like I still do not understand it. I still don't.
I think you can sign brilliant players for that money, so I struggle.
You can.
Very good players for that money.
You can. If you look hard enough, you can find players with that money for sure. What's that kid that Midtjylland called? Şimşir. The young Turkish kid. Like maybe if you put another $2.5 million on top, you get that kid.
Yeah.
Just saying.
What was that? Midtjylland. Let's see. Try to find this guy.
Şimşir. What's his first name? I don't even remember. But he's a young Turkish player. Chosen for the Turkish national team now, apparently. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
So he plays for Midtjylland?
Midtjylland, yeah.
The Danish team?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, there he is. I couldn't see him because they put him down as Danish. But yeah, man, chances created. He has 2.74. And he's a left winger, man.
Maybe he's more expensive. Maybe he costs 10 million. I don't know. He's a big talent, so maybe he costs a lot more. But I'm just saying, like, it's not because you can't afford him that you need to waste your money, good money, on a player that is clearly not at the level you want him to be. I've said this before, Jan Kelesh on a free or at a very low sum, 500k, you can take the gamble. But 2.75 million euros, that is not gambling money on a player you are going into it already. You kind of know it's a foregone conclusion. He's not going to be good enough. You can take 3 million euros and you can gamble it on a Kevin Carlos, for example. You can do that because look, now he's gone to Basel and he's doing well. Yeah. You know, when there's a good indication that he's going to be successful, then you take the plunge. But with Jan Kelesh, you know, anyone who's seen Jan Kelesh play at Fatih Karagümrük will know that that's not a Beşiktaş player.
Yeah, I really think, man, for 2.75 million euros, you can find a gem in a league that's maybe not watched a lot, like maybe one of the Balkan leagues, maybe like one of the Northern European leagues.
Look at Aydin Hasic when he came, when he first got chances under Sergen, he did have an impact. Then he unfortunately tore his ACL, but you know, there's no reason why you can't find someone in Bosnia or something like, okay, Croatia, you're not going to get the talented players there for 3 million. That's just not going to happen. You have to pay top dollar for Croatian talents. Maybe in Serbia, maybe in Bosnia, maybe in Albania, maybe in, I don't know, there's Switzerland. You know, there's lots of Albanians and stuff like that playing in the Swiss league. Swiss league is a good place to go shopping. Denmark, Sweden, Norway.
Exactly, great places, man. Like, I'm sure you can find a good player for 2.75 million in these leagues.
Maybe not.
For sure.
Maybe not for 2.75 million, Kata. Maybe you have to pay 5 or you have to pay 6. But I'd much rather pay 5 or 6 million for a good player than waste 3 million on. Look at the example.
Look at Matt O'Reilly. He was $1.5 million. Celtic paid for him, and now they sold him for 25.
Yeah.
So it's done. If you have the
like I said, you still need to be able to get the players to want to come. But if you don't try, we need wacht. You have to dare. You have to make the attempt.
Yeah. So let's see. Attiljan says, don't want to be that guy, but Gio gets paid money to find solutions that not like us do not see. I mean, I think we've kind of said that you try and up the tempo in passing, but as Khan said, I don't think Gio's telling him to pass the ball slowly, which I agree. Rashika being back to full fitness is going to make a big difference. And the one thing Gio could kind of change is if he makes maybe the subs a bit quicker. That's one thing we've criticised, but other than that, man, like, I think it's clearly a personnel issue, to be honest.
With Emirhan returning from suspension, Rasishka hopefully 100% fit, I would really like to see us try a 3-5-2 after the international break with Semi and Chiro up top, with maybe Rasishka as a left wing back, Svensson as a right wing back, and Rafa behind the striker, and then Emirhan on the left, Paulista or Felix in the center of the back three. Try something like that. When we don't have the personnel to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, then play a different lineup. Try something else. That's a fair criticism, I think. But it's not grounds for dismissal, though.
Yeah, I think either you can play Emirhan as the left centre back or play Svensson as the right centre back.
You can also do that, yeah.
But I think I'd probably just get, even though I want Masuaku replaced, I think maybe in a situation where he's get 3 centre backs behind him,
yeah, maybe
you'd see good side. So I'd probably still play him left wing back and have Rashika right wing.
Yeah.
But let's see. Sinan said that he saw the highlight. He says it kind of looks like his foot rakes his shin. I can see why it wasn't given based on the angle. Weird, there isn't a side angle. Well, that's the thing, though. That in fact, the VAR referee should have all the angles possible.
They have.
So, like, that's not.
I'm sure they looked at it and look. I don't trust Turkish refs, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm sure they looked at it and it wasn't the penalty. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm sure they did look at it. And I think if it was obscene enough, but I'm sure now in the talk shows right at the moment they will be highlighting it, and I'm sure all the former referees will be sharing their opinions whether it was a penalty or not. I don't know if we have any of those yet. I'll see if I can find any.
And then Sinan is, because Khan called him Captain America, said, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Sinan also said, I think Gio said we emphasised shoring up the defence in the last window, and we all have to admit it's been a good centre-back rotation like we do now, which I fully agree with. This is the best centre-back rotation we've had in a long time. Even when we were at our best, man, in the mid-2010s, like 15, 16, 16, 17, our centre-back rotation I don't think was this good, because as soon as Tosic or Marcelo or Tosic and Pepe get injured, the backups just weren't as good. But now we have Emirhan, who I think is a brilliant third centre-back to have. From the Heart videos, Mario stayed way too long. He said he probably should have been. He's saying he should have been subbed earlier. I mean, you can make a case for that, I'm sure, but I think like we don't really have that many options on the bench. That's kind of the problem. But definitely, when everyone's fully fit, Mario shouldn't be starting. I mean, none of us are being. Well, I know you're not like a hater, Cam. Like,
well, I just think it's people are making him out to be a shit football player, and he isn't. He's crisp, he's clean, he's okay, but he's not what we need. I've said it a million times. He's not a bad football player, but he's not the right football player for us.
Yeah, so because of that, he is a failure. He's
a flop. It's a flop. I have no problem saying that. It's not because he's a bad player. It's just not what we needed.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. We need a good backup striker too. Yeah, from the Heart videos, if maybe you've just tuned in, but yeah, we've been saying that for weeks. So yeah, that's a very good comment, man. So we appreciate that comment. We fully agree. Sinan said, I mean, it's weird we didn't get more angles. Yeah, you could say. I also think that Bein Sports makes an effort of kind of not showing different angles in these kind of positions. Just so that...
Okay, I have from the Tactisch Mala Position You know that page? They're usually
Yeah,
pretty spot on. So let me see. Read it. Beşiktaş'ın son anlarda penaltı bekledi. Bu pozisyonda Lima tamamen iyi niyetle denilmez. Ancak burada penaltıyı gerektiren bir ihlal de yok. Benim için bu devam kararı doğru. Waren müdahale edilecek bir pozisyon değil. So he says it's that he agrees with the decision and that it's not a position where VAR should intervene. It's also my opinion, honestly. So I don't think we should be shouting too much about it. I think it's one of those things, man. It's one of those penalties you want to get because you've been shit all game. You haven't been able to win it on your own, and then you hope you get a little push in the back to seal the deal. But that's not the Beşiktaş way, I think, man. I don't think it's a penalty. I said it's bad.
He said that he doesn't think like the intention's purely good from Lima, but he thinks it's basically not a position where a penalty's like needed. So basically, essentially, he's just saying there's contact, but it's too soft to be a penalty. That's what he's saying here.
Yeah.
So that's what.
That's my opinion as well. Yeah, it's. I mean, I wish it was different, and I wish it was more of a foul, and I wish they went to VAR and gave a penalty. We scored and we got the 3 points, but I don't think what happened was enough to justify that. I think if we would have won that way, it would have been the wrong way to win, honestly.
To be honest, I'd quite like the 3 points instead of the one. But...
yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's Başakşehir, so like the Copenhagen fans said, or with their tifo. I don't know if you saw that. So yeah, it's Başakşehir. I wouldn't feel too bad about it, probably. Nobody's gonna bat an eyelash anyway because they don't have any fans, right?
Exactly, man. No one's going to be upset. So is there anything else you want to say, Karen? Or are you quite happy to wrap this one up?
No, I think if we got to all the comments, then I don't think really there's anything left to say. Very sorry again, guys. Bad result. Appreciate everyone joining us in the live chat. It started off a little slow, but we got things going. Plenty of comments. Thank you very much, everyone. Sinan, get well quick. Get well soon. I think it's international break now, right, Kartal? There's no more games?
So, unfortunately, we need to think about this game for the next 2 weeks before we play again, which is... I hate dropping points before an international break. It's the worst. But unfortunately, for the second break in a row, we're in this situation. So it's going to be a rough couple of weeks.
But the difference though, Kartal, like, the previous time we had something. We had 3 points in our hands and we gave it away. Today...
Yeah, that's just not good.
Not good enough. I think that's the conclusion. Yeah. Anyway, if you joined us late, go back to the start of the video. I want you guys to check out our new intro. We got a fancy new video intro. Please let us know in the comments what you think about it. I'm really happy with it. I think it's great. Thanks to Asim for putting us in contact with the drone pilot who made that video. And also, of course, a big props thanks to them for letting us use it. You can find the maker of the footage on Instagram on Drone Evreni. So it's Drone Evreni. So it's one word. So I guess his name is Evren, maybe. I don't know. But go check it out. It's a fantastic video. I really think it's great. I don't know what you thought about it, Kartal. What do you think? We have a sexy new intro?
Oh, it's brilliant. Just if the football on the pitch was as sexy as that intro would be great.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Of course you saw it. This new eagle they put on the roof. Kartal.
It's bad.
I hope they're gonna put in some accents, like they're gonna like make it look good still, but it looks like, in those American TV shows when they do like psychological tests on people and they have these ink blobs and you have to like tell you what you see in the ink blobs. I feel like we have a giant ink blob on the roof of our stadium.
Yeah, no, man. It's not very good, man.
I don't know who is signing off on this, who's making these decisions, but the decoration of the roof definitely could have been done better. I think there was a mock-up on Twitter from someone who showed how it could have been done, kept it clean, kept it simple. And then he made the remark that now it kind of looks like a children's coloring book. And yeah, maybe it kind of does. It's not a great decision. Fortunately, they can scrub it off and replace it in a couple of years, hopefully. But for the time being, I'm afraid we'll have to probably make do with it.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Kathal, for joining us. Like I said before, see you and get well soon. We'll see you all again, of course, after the international break. But of course, we also have some stuff coming up soon. I'll be recording the Maccabi Tel Aviv preview next week with an Israeli football journalist. And I'll see if I am able to put some content during this international break up on the YouTube channel as well. Go check out our Patreon page if you want to support us other than subscribing and liking our videos and commenting and joining us in the live chat. If you want to support us a little bit more, go to patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. For just $1.99 a month, you get early access to all our YouTube videos, not the live shows, obviously, because those are live, but the YouTube videos you get early access so that that Maccabi Tel Aviv preview, you'll get instant access to it as soon as I upload it after conducting the interview, whereas the people on YouTube will have to wait a little bit longer. And yeah, we also have the VIP podcast. I'm sure I'm going to record one in a couple of days to maybe reflect a bit on this game and talk a little bit more. Maybe I can entice Sinan or Kathal to join me for the audio VIP podcast. So that's all content you get when you become a Black Eagle VIP member at patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. Other than that, I don't really have much more to add. So Kathal, maybe you can do the honors.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say let's go Beşiktaş. I'm going to say iyi günde, kötü günde Beşiktaş. Beşiktaş on the good and the bad days. We need to stick with Beşiktaş.
That's what my bracelet says, man.
There's only one Beşiktaş, right? And we need to stay with the team in these bad times. I know I always have. And I feel like a lot of the time in the bad times I actually feel more connected in a strange way.
Yeah, I have the same feeling.
We need to get out of this rut, man, and hopefully with the team fully fit after this international break, we can get to January with as minimal droppage of points as possible.
Yeah.
And hopefully in January we get the wingers we need, the backup striker, a left back, and then who knows, we can have a great second half of the season and maybe get a Champions League spot. So remember, iyi günde, kötü günde Beşiktaş, and the good and the bad days we stay with the team we love. And do you want to take it to the next page? I'll thank our Patreons.
I will do, Kathal. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.
So special thanks to our Patreons: Özkan, Zarzalaci, Zina Kide, Özcan, Oğuz, Paul O'Connor, Applejack, Malak, Tara Hennessy, 1 and a 2 and a 3, Keith Gregory, and the very famous The Dutch Eagle. Thank you very much, guys, and we appreciate your help and support.